Dude, Sam, another giant private equity firm deal in the accounting industry.
I think we're averaging like one a week at this point. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's nuts. Yeah, so Soren has been created out of a merger of like, what was it, 13, 14 companies,
Yeah.
private equity backed. And they chose a new name and a new logo. They didn't take any of the existing firm's stuff, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, they're like going for the whole new brand thing. It
Yep.
was kind of interesting looking at the list, and I was like, oh, none of these are really big firms.
Right.
So it does kind of make sense from a brand perspective. If you don't have like really heavy equity in one of those firms,
Yep.
then maybe it's time to just start over and come up with something brand new. And I will give them credit. I do love, as you and I know, that it's not one of the founders' names.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I guess we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. And some of you may know that Mike and I are kind of sticklers for naming. I mean, we're brand guys. So we are. And we do a lot of this with clients both in and outside of the accounting industry. And names have people tend to hold on very tightly to their names, more so than logos, colors, fonts, all that stuff. Of course, the name is what people tend to hold on to very tightly. So yes, full credit to Soren, who was able to. It is
Soren, I assume.
I think so.
Double R makes me a little confused.
Unless you're from Canada, then it would be like Soren.
Soren.
I'm so
Soren.
I'm Soren. Soren, I would guess. But yeah, this is from a kind of surface level. I think they did a pretty good job of putting together, a brand visually, logo, the word mark, even the colors, Mike. How often do you see red? How often do you see red?
Yeah, and it's kind of a slightly soft, like almost pastel red.
Yep.
There's some other colors. I was pulling up their website.
Teal, dark blues.
Dark blue, light blue.
Yep.
And then this kind of tannish beige light color. Kind of used in a lot of stuff, which I like the combination. It's a little flat. If we're going to be like really, really nitpicky, it lacks a little punch for me.
Yeah.
And then the choice of imagery, if you're looking at the website, maybe a little dark. I think it feels to me, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, that this website was probably put together really quickly.
Yeah.
And it's got a little feel of that in some of the design choices. Not bad. It's decent. It's telling the story. We got to talk about the tagline.
Yeah.
So seeing beyond numbers to what matters most for you, or what matters most, you. And there's a big old M dash in there.
Yeah. So we just a little note on that. We have our accounting, the index for accounting firms, where we take over 1,400 accounting firms across the United States, and we analyze over 40 to 50 data points. One of those data points is tagline. So we have taken every tagline of 1,400 plus accounting firms, and I can tell you that this tagline is pretty much probably like all the top 5 to 7 buzzwords in all the taglines. Yeah. Seeing beyond numbers, like that is quintessential. And that's not, so some people might hear that and say, oh, see, we got it right. We did the right thing. I'm like, no, you are not differentiated.
Yeah, it's just not different.
No. It's safe.
And even if you read beyond that, it's like, we partner with you to handle today's needs while preparing you for tomorrow's opportunities. That's well written, but the message being conveyed is what I think a lot of firms would say.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at this purely from a differentiation standpoint, and again, huge benefit of the doubt, grain of salt here. You're launching a brand new brand. You are rushed trying to get it done. There's probably a lot of people involved in the decision-making process with a merger like this. Maybe round 2. Let's be a little bit more judgmental, or I'll hold their feet to the fire a little bit more on the next round. So I expect a lot of this will get changed in the next year or two as they kind of further develop their identity and really figure out who they are. And this is like a comment on that process, right? So this is something that I think a lot of firms are going through this process with private equity, where they're rolling up lots of firms all at once. You have to go through this decision-making process of like, should we create a whole brand new brand? Or should we take one of the existing brands or a merger of the brands and kind of use what already exists?
Yeah.
And there's pros and cons on both sides. There's not a right or wrong answer for all situations. Like sometimes it's a better answer for one group that's merging versus a different group.
Yep.
But one of the challenges with creating a new brand is that it is hard to know what you are when you first start. You have no history. You have no background. You have no existing kind of messaging. You really need to do a very deep dive across all these firms to really understand the identities of all of them and how combined they create a new identity together, and have a very clear vision of what that identity should be and how it serves people well.
Yep.
And that work is hard. It takes some time. It requires some soul searching.
Yep.
And when you're doing it with all these firms all at once, that's very, very difficult. That's really hard work to do. So, I think to come out of it and say, okay, we have a new name. I don't know if I have a love or hate of this name. I think it's just fine. I do love that it's one word. It's 2 syllables. It's got some good tactical advantages with it.
Yeah.
I did notice there is another accounting firm that does exist. I think they're very small, but Soren. So there's another Soren. They're going to have to deal with that at some point. And maybe that's a potential acquisition.
Exactly.
Logo's fine. Anyway, they'll get a lot of that stuff figured out in time. But that point being said, if you used an existing brand that had enough equity and had enough like awareness already to do this process, you would be ahead of Soren. So if you're like, oh, it's a race, 2 big giant mergers at the same time, 2 different brands, one already has awareness and equity in the marketplace, one is brand new and no one knows who it is, you've got an advantage if you're already out ahead, at least in the short term. So Soren's got a lot of work to do, as they should. Yep. And I hope they do well. So, But I think this gets to another point, Sam, which is private equity in the accounting space is totally reshaping professional services, especially in accounting firms.
It's a wave, and it's coming, and it's already here.
No, it's definitely here.
We have experienced this with several clients, and it's definitely reshaping things, Mike. And I think this is not, from our point of view, this is not death to the small firm. Mm-mm. Like a forest, when there is a forest fire, Mike, and there's a consolidation of trees. What a
metaphor.
There's new growth, right? There's an opportunity for new growth. And I think we're seeing that, or we will see that in the accounting industry, because there's a big debate here. And I don't really think it's a debate. I think it's more of a dilemma. The scale versus service quality. So if you look at Soren and you look at the press release and you look at the stuff on their website, their claims, like you would expect, is we're doing this for you. We're not doing this to become really big. We're not doing this to make more money. We're doing this to serve you better, client. Now, that's what everybody says when they go through a merger, because why would you say anything else? But
and
is it reality?
Some of the other answers that are also true are not in service to the client directly.
Yeah.
Right? Things like succession planning, right?
Yeah.
Now, you can make an argument like, well, we all get to continue to serve you because we still have a business now, I guess, rather than just shutting our doors. But That's not a great story. That's not a good press release.
No.
So like, or there's hey, we're feeling squeezed. And so we feel like we got to join the big guys in some way, shape, or form. But back to your point, like, absolutely, there's, whether it's real or perceived, there's a challenge with scale. And especially, I think, when it's sniffed or it's clear that there's another entity behind this scale.
Yeah.
That may not have clients' best interests in mind, or at least it's perceived that way, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, right? Private equity comes in, swoops in, buys up a bunch of firms, merges them together, or, provides a bunch of funding behind one really big brand in order for them to go swoop in and buy up brands.
Right.
The perception, I think, for a lot of clients is fear over, well, what is that going to mean for me? Am I going to lose the quality of service that I've gotten from you? Am I going to lose those relationships? And then on the other side of things, as a client, I'm fearful that you're just going to jack all my prices up.
Yeah.
And I think some of that is rightful fear. Like, we've seen it in other industries. Private equity comes in, and a lot of times the way that private equity works is to tighten the screws, right?
Right.
Let's make this business as efficient as possible. Let's reduce headcount to the minimum, and let's increase prices where we think we can.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of clients are trained to see this type of thing and go, whoa, I really wonder if I'm going to still get what I've been paying for.
Yeah.
And then what is it going to cost me?
Right.
So I think a lot of firms going through this process really need to think hard about these claims you're making. You're making claims that this is in your client's best interest. If you don't prove that, if you don't demonstrate that, not just say it, but if you don't demonstrate it and demonstrate it very quickly, like, you need real tangible wins with your clients to show them how, like, oh, we invested in new technology and it wasn't just about saving us a buck. It was about creating a much better experience for you.
Right.
Or, hey, we're bringing on some really amazing staff from these other firms that we're merging with. Can I introduce you? Because I think they'd be a real benefit to you if you just knew who they were and what some of the things they can do for you are, right? And then the whole pricing thing, I mean, you need to be very careful with that. Now, I'll put a caveat on that. I think there's a lot of firms out there who are underbilling. So just in my experience, your legacy accounts that have been with you for 20 years, right, probably are getting a smoking deal.
Yeah.
And for some firms, and especially as you grow, you do need to always be looking at the bottom end of your billing, your levels of billing, and saying, hey, are these guys really worth the value that we're giving them for the price they're paying? I think for clients to just wholeheartedly expect I'm going to get the same price for years and years is completely unrealistic. So if you have those kinds of conversations and you're like, hey, but even your rollout of pricing changes, the problem is, you're private equity backed. If they're a majority shareholder now, they get to dictate those things, not you, but maybe try to negotiate that a little bit and say, hey, can we phase this appropriately? So we're not just like hitting everyone all at the same time, but I think within the context of this private equity deal,
I think in a deal like this, the people that get hurt are the smaller clients, right? The little guys, it's the personal tax returns that a lot of accounting firms started with 30, 40 years ago, that a lot of accounting firms actually, they really like the people that they work with, but they want to get rid of those accounts. Those are not profitable. And then it's the small businesses who do very little with that firm over the year. Now, when you do a merger like this, when you're bringing in all these things together, who could win from that is actually maybe your medium to large businesses. If you have clients like that, who maybe they had to go over here to get their R&D tax credit stuff done, and over here to do their corporate tax filings, and over here to do the TPT stuff. And they had all their stuff was with different people because that's a lot of different things and a lot of different, departments. If you're able to say, hey, we've just consolidated all of this into one system, one platform, you get to do all of this under one roof. And yes, it's going to cost you more, but it's going to be way easier and it's totally going to be a win for you.
Yeah.
That's probably like super optimistic because it's probably not that easy and not that seamless. But that could be a case for, yes, that's the type of client that could benefit from a merger like this. And I bet the private equity firm and all these firms are probably like, we're doing this to go get bigger business clients.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be the end goal. Like that's the only way that a merger like this could be profitable in the long run. They can't just go out and get 1,000 more personal tax returns. So, Mike,
if you want to, I guess, go for it.
Yeah. Right? What does this mean for the accounting industry as a whole? Yep. We do a lot of work in the industry. We see a lot of M&Es happening. What's kind of the medium to long-term impact of this?
Yeah, this is something I've been thinking a little bit about recently, and that is, I think it's actually opening up a ton of opportunity for smaller and mid-sized firms, right? So as these mergers continue to happen, these big roll-ups, these kind of combined firms, or some of them are platforms with lots of businesses being added, or accounting firms being added. I think what you're going to see, though, is that the clients are not going to be satisfied. Not always, right? Some of them will. They're going to really appreciate and enjoy this, as we just talked about. But a lot of them are not. They're going to be like, oh, the higher prices or the level of service quality is going down, or perceived like it's going down, or I'm just not getting what I used to get because you're changing your business. That's going to open up tons of opportunity for smaller firms, whether that's mid-size or even like small niche firms, or even startup firms, right? As even partners maybe think about like, hey, do I still want to be here? And they exit these firms. I do think that you're going to see a lot of opportunity for small and mid-sized firms and startup firms to really take advantage of this. But I think there's a caveat with that. If you continue to operate like full service, all industry firms, industry agnostic firms, I don't think you're going to have a lot of success in the next 5 to 8 years with what's going on with private equity, because I think the private equity firms are going to just dominate that type of marketing, right? Where it's like, we help everyone with all services. Yeah. These big private equity backed firms, or even just the other large firms in the industry, really have a stranglehold on that opportunity, right? Because then it really is just size matters most. Yeah. And then lowest cost. But if you really want to deliver great service and you really want to be a true advisor to your clients and be able to go help a lot of these clients who are going to be leaving these roll-ups, then you need to be very tightly positioned. Yeah. You need to be probably one industry, maybe even like down to like a handful of services that you are just uniquely gifted at, super powered at, right? And that you can really demonstrate your expertise. And honestly, it's going to require a lot of thought leadership from you. So I think that's where the future of the industry is in terms of opportunity. And, very short term, you're going to get a bunch of clients who there's a lot of chum in the water, and everyone's going to be grabbing clients. But I think over the longer term, if you look 5, maybe 8 years out, firms that are really, really tightly positioned, I think this new wave is coming. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see a ton of startup firms who really understand, like, man, if we go really deep in one industry, an application of a certain level of service to that industry, we're going to dominate because that's what people want. Geography doesn't matter anymore, right? My location as a firm does not really matter with my clients as much as it used to, right? The digital environment means that if you can go really deep on something, you can own that category within the sphere of content on the internet, within ChatGPT, within AI, right? Tools are looking for those thought leaders to publish and grab that content and deliver it back to people asking questions, and they'll cite you. So I really believe that's where there's a lot of value and a lot of opportunity within the market.